in the healthcare. Chris speaking. May I help you?
Hey, Chris, this is Robert Milligan. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. I had a quick question.
Good.
I had a quick question for you.
Yes, sir.
I unearthed a HIPAA violation where my medical records were disclosed to neighbors. And I was wondering if you knew if there was a statute of limitations on that crime.
They obtained your medical records? Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Somebody released information from within my medical records to my neighborhood. And I believe it's the police. I know the neighbor who told it to the police. So yeah, I'm just trying to line up my ducks.
HIPAA violation with medical records.
Yeah, and I think it's the police.
Okay. Police.
And the police are still not helping.
Possible. Go ahead, sweetie.
Oh, no problem. About 2 weeks ago, I played for an officer a 911 recording of the crime of a person pretending to be the Secret Service and telling lies. And I have him on his body cam, which I'm receiving, him blaming a mental illness on the crime and not even addressing the crime. I am beyond pissed off at the police for not helping and for assuming that everything is a mental illness when there's actual crime, that they're protecting the two neighbors that are in charge of this fiasco, and I needed to stop. So
Sure. So where did you get? So you said you had a recording?
yeah, I got 45 911 transcripts from the public records unit with the police department, and in June of 2021. And that's when I found out a lot of information. The HIPAA violation was probably from 2020. I would need to go back into my records to double check it. I could find out.
Can I ask what they said?
Yeah, they said that I do or did meth that was non-prescription. Or not meth, I'm sorry, opioids. And it was actually attempted murder. I've never taken an opioid in my life, so I was drugged. And I've had mail stolen from my house. I've been stalked, basically. And there's somebody in the neighborhood who does not like me and does not want me living here. And it's been an ongoing thing. But
I remember you've had this problem.
Oh my God, it's ridiculous. And the police are blocking me from reporting crime, and they're blaming everything on a mental illness. And they've caused numerous hospitalizations because of it. It's complete bullshit. And I absolutely need it stopped. And I need the police's help in being a voice of authority to get the truth out, because I've got the truth. And nobody believes me because the police call it a delusional belief. It's so screwed up. I don't know what to do, Chris.
And you don't feel that you have delusions at all?
No, I do not.
Okay. Now, were you working with the mental health facility or not?
What do you mean?
Were you going to counseling at all?
I did go to one session, but I have not been since. Counseling is not going to fix this problem, addressing the crimes.
Correct. It's not.
Yeah.
But it's also going to help you with maybe kind of, I don't want to say, some coping skills or something of that nature. I'm sure there's a lot of trauma. I think there's a whole lot of other issues that, are very, very near and dear to you that you really don't want to talk about.
That I don't want to talk about, you said?
Yeah.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, tell me, when you were growing up, what was it like growing up in your house?
It was fine. My parents got divorced when I was 10, and my mom raised my brother and I from that point on.
Okay. No type of trauma or anything of that nature?
No, the only trauma that has been produced has been from my neighbors trying to get me to move, and they're discriminating against me because of a drug use in the past. They're absolutely discriminating against me, and the police are assisting them.
Yeah.
By blocking.
And you said that they're saying that you did opiates?
Yeah. Somehow that information got leaked to neighbors. And it must have come from the police, because the neighbors have been working with the police for years to try and get me to move, because the neighbors are unhappy with me living here. It's absurd.
I remember you telling me that.
Oh my God. So I'm in the process of still trying to get a lawyer, which has been impossible with the diagnosis that I've been given, which is a misdiagnosis. But it's been...
What diagnosis were you given?
Schizophrenia, schizoaffective.
Schizoaffective disorder?
Yeah. Yep. And the reason that they gave that to me was because there were no reports of crime on file with the police. It's because the police have been blocking me. So every time I've gone in, I've said the same thing. And the doctors are not listening to me. And the police continue to just do the same crap over and over and over again. And I am sick of it. Then they're not addressing the crimes that are still going on.
But they don't see the crimes. Is that what I'm hearing? You see it and you hear it, but the police don't.
I have given them the 911 transcript of a federal crime happening, and they've done nothing about it. What
was the federal crime?
2 people came into the neighborhood pretending to be Secret Service. And they talked to me and another neighbor, and has been working with this other neighbor to try and get me to move. And the way that they were going to do that was to cause mental health evaluations until I got a diagnosis, and then try and get me to move, saying I'm mentally ill. It's ridiculous. And I've got my whole neighborhood stalking me, looking for behavior so that they can get that goal. I don't know what the police are thinking by going this route or recommending this route of giving somebody a diagnosis just to get them to move, but it's disgusting, and I need it fixed. I absolutely need it fixed. Like I said, I'm trying to get help from a lawyer. I put in a call to another lawyer today. I've got a phone number of another one, but it's been very difficult. And neighbors are not giving the answers to questions that are going to get me closer to the actual people that are stalking me. Because they're in touch with them. So...
You can call the Bar Association too, and they can make recommendations for you for an attorney.
Yeah, I've tried that a couple times, and it's not worked out.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. So I built this huge case of negligence and against the police, because since they don't believe me, they don't respond to me at all.
So you can't even do 911 calls anymore?
I guess I could do that, but when the officers come out, they don't do anything for me. And they profile me. And like this one officer that approached me when I called for help, first thing out of his mouth was, "Robert, are you on your meds?" I'm like, what the fuck? The police are horrible and they discriminate. And I built up this huge case and I just need a lawyer to file the charges. And I've just been meeting up with a wall, and it sucks.
Right. The only thing if you get an attorney, you're going to have to pay.
Right. I'm prepared to do that.
So I don't know. That might be pretty expensive.
Yes, I know. One estimate was $7,500 to take care of Patty Ryan, who is the neighbor that I'm having the most difficulty with, and then $15,000 was the second figure for a different lawyer to handle the negligence, taking on the police.
Wow.
Yeah. So my house is on the market.
That's where you're going to get it. It's because it's in police, because they're involved. So now they're going to have to. We can charge him anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's actually a super easy case because I've gathered up all the evidence. So.
Yeah. So you have the recordings of the 911.
Mm-hmm. I also have a document where they call the crime of the imposters and my effort to get help delusional beliefs. That's what the police call the actual crime. They then shared this with my friends, and none of my friends now believe me. So it's an issue of pretty extensive defamation of character and libel and slander. I just don't know what to do, and was hoping you might know the answer, at least for the HIPAA violation, if there was a statute of limitations on it.
That I do not know. But there's always things going on the TV like, if you did, 2 years ago or 5 years ago and something was violated. So I don't know how the violations would go with that. Because sometimes on those commercials, we'll go back 10 years or 20 years or whatever it is.
Right.
But for HIPAA violations, I have no clue.
Yeah.
Because that's a federal law.
Right.
Okay. I deal more with state law.
Okay.
With Medicaid and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So that's why with that. But the last time you were in the hospital in August.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was the same thing back then too, with your neighbors.
Yeah, well, that's the problem, and the police aren't addressing it.
No, because they're causing it delusional behaviors.
They are actually doing things. Why would it be causing delusional behaviors? That's what's written on the form. That's not what's going on. What's going on are real crimes.
Mm-hmm.
And those are not delusional behaviors, but they are saying that it's delusional beliefs.
Correct.
In other words, they don't think the neighbors are doing anything.
You're absolutely correct.
Right.
You're absolutely correct.
Mm-hmm.
So, if I cannot do anything about it, which is so hard for me to say.
Yeah.
Because I do want to help you. I do want to make this, easier for you. but I can't call the police and say, hey, you need to stop.
Right.
You know, even though I'd love to do that, but I don't think that'll go very far.
Right. I know.
Yeah.
I know. Well, if you think of a lawyer who would be willing to work with somebody with a mental health diagnosis, it would be a godsend to have that. So, if you run across anybody,
yeah. Who is your primary care doctor?
Dr. Persinger.
Okay, I wanted to make sure we had it listed correctly.
Gotcha. Persinger.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Let me look at it just to be sure.
He actually caused the first hospitalization, and then neighbors performed all the others.
Oh. Okay.
So
it's saying that your primary health care is primary 1.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, and it's on Parsons Avenue?
Yes, it is on South Parsons Avenue.
All right, wonderful. Yep. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Sure thing.
So all the other ones they have done, but the last one was the police.
The police have actually caused the last 3. And that would be January. And
you are absolutely correct.
And then June, and then August. And I think what's happening, at least from the Netcare documents that I've received of the case notes, it appears that somebody is calling MCR anonymously, because I've tried to get information on who is calling them to cause cases
MCR.
Multiple crisis response, multiple crisis response unit. And they deal with mental health and drug abuse. And they are contacting Netcare and opening up cases. And I need to find out how this is happening, because it just keeps happening over and over and over again.
Do they bring the multiple crisis response unit out to the house?
A couple times they have not. In fact, the executive director of intake for Netcare has gone ahead and filed at least once sight unseen. And there were other times when I was not spoken to. And Netcare does not believe that neighbors are doing anything. And I think they go to the same neighbor to get the witness report, which is the neighbor I'm having problems with.
So then Netcare opens a report and then they go talk to people?
They talk with a neighbor and ask about my behaviors. And I think that's why I'm getting all the stalking I am from my neighborhood, because she believes that this is a way to get me to move. She's lied on many occasions with things, and she's aware that these people that came into the neighborhood are imposters. But I don't think she shared that with the government, or I don't think she shared that with the police yet.
Okay.
So the police are under the impression that the real government is involved in my stalking, because that's the story that was started from the imposters. I can't believe this is blown up to this proportion, but it's insane. It's absolutely insane. And the police are they're either fully knowledgeable of everything, which is scary, or they're completely in the dark and just discriminating against me and discounting me because of the diagnosis they gave me. It's just.
But I would think they have to know something since the mobile crisis unit came out.
They keep coming out.
Come on.
I went to the Internal Affairs Bureau in June 23rd. That was the last hospitalization before August. And I was trying to talk with Internal Affairs. All of a sudden, MCR comes in and detains me while I'm trying to have a meeting. So I'm assuming that would be entrapment.
So you tried to call Internal Affairs?
I went in person because I have sent dozens of emails and I've never gotten a response. So I went in person to explain to them what's been going on in the neighborhood. And
sure.
I got about 5 sentences in comes MCR and detains me. I waited 2.5 hours before they handed me over to the sheriff's department because they hadn't done the paperwork yet. I don't know what is going on with the police, but it's messed up. The officer who did the detainment told me that I had a suspended license and I had a totally valid license. So the police are getting bogus information and I'm concerned about it because I think it's coming from neighbors.
Oh, wow. So, do you drive all the time?
Yes. Yep.
And you have a valid license?
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. A little bit.
It's so screwed. Crazy. And the police look at me sideways, and I have no clue what that's all about. But they've been so disrespectful and given me no opportunity at all. I don't know. I'm just really frustrated.
I bet you are. Are you on any kind of medications for physical stuff or any kind of?
No.
Okay. I didn't think you were.
Yeah. I'm prescribed levothyroxine, but I do not take that.
You don't take your
Synthroid? No.
Yeah. Why not?
Well, because it was diagnosed when I was tired, and they determined that it was a thyroid issue. So that symptom of being tired, though, has gone away. So there's really not much of a reason to take it.
Okay. Did you get your injection in August?
Yeah, I was in the hospital.
Okay. And they gave you the injection then?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay. And haven't had it since then?
No.
Okay. Okay.
The last 3 hospitalizations, I have passed the medical part of the evaluation. But they still keep sending me to the mental hospital. Why don't they just release me?
So you go in and they put you in a medical unit? Or they go ahead and just put you in the psych unit?
They put me in the psych unit. And then they fill me with more medication that I do not need.
When's the last time you've been to the doctor?
Well, August was the one trip, the last time I've seen the doctor. It's been a while since I've seen Dr. Persinger.
Okay. Do you have an appointment to go back?
No, I do not.
Okay. So the only thing really medically is your thyroid. Am I correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Right. Well, you're in pretty good shape then. Physically, yeah, you're good
Yeah,
shape.
for almost
Now,
50.
if we could just... For almost what?
I said for almost 50,
Oh, 50,
I'm doing all
yeah.
right.
Yeah, I'm 55, so...
Gotta enjoy it while we got it, right?
I'm telling you, you have to. Because if you don't, it's going to fly by.
I know.
That's for sure.
I've lost so many years of my life over this bullshit that is
I can
this
imagine
neighborhood
so.
agenda. It's been a nightmare. And I just need it stopped. And I guess the only way to get it to stop is taking it to court. I'm afraid to file the charges myself because,
I was going to ask you what...
you know, if I fill them out wrong or if I miss something, the case can get thrown out. And this case is literally millions of dollars because the negligence is so huge.
Okay. Okay.
So, I don't know.
So what, when you come into case management, we work together with regarding your mental health, your physical health, and we try and work out a plan that we can work together to kind of make things better. What do you think would be something that you would like to work on health-wise as a goal?
Exercise. I need to do some more exercise.
Okay. Exercise. Okay. Anything else?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll put that down as your goal to increase or to start exercising how many times a week?
3.
3 times a week?
Yeah.
Okay. For how many minutes?
At least a half hour.
You think you can do that?
I hope so.
You want to start small first?
Let's say 15 minutes.
I was going to say, let's go 15. I know I'd have to. Okay, well, we can put that in there.
Sounds good.
And we'll work on that. Okay? Now, if there's anything that you can think of that I can do to help you, I'll kind of keep my ears and eyes open for an attorney, and maybe I'll even ask maybe some of my other coworkers.
That would be awesome. I would appreciate that so much because
no problem.
It's the only way that this is going to end. It's sad, but the police choosing not to help is what's created this huge problem, and they're just not going to help. You know, because they don't want to. They want to discriminate. So, and they're too busy protecting my neighbor who committed crime.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's ridiculous. So,
yeah.
If you run across somebody, please give me a phone call.
Absolutely. I will do that. So
Excellent.
I'll check in with you in a couple weeks, or about a month or so, see how you're doing.
Sounds perfect. I look forward to it.
Okay. All right, great.
Okay.
Take care, Robert.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
It's the second time we've had a conversation. The first time was maybe about a month and a half ago. I need a lawyer.